From shocking disappointments to unforgettable moments, we are about to rank the last 10 WrestleManias from worst to best. Which one takes the crown and which one gets left in the past? Stick around to find out. It's about to get controversial. March 31st, 1985 at Madison Square Garden, the first ever WrestleMania took place, and I don't think anybody back then could have expected it to be as big as it has gotten. This is the Super Bowl for professional wrestling, and it is an insane event every single year. And originally, WrestleMania was a one-night spectacle, always taking place in the middle of March/early April. And actually, this year is taking place at the end of April, which is a little bit weird. But in 2020, during COVID, everything got shut down, and WrestleMania 36, which was originally slated to be a one-night event, was transformed into a two-night event. They did that just due to all the constrictions and all of that was taking place back then. But it opened a new gate, as ever since then, every WrestleMania has been a two-night event, and even other pay-per-views such as SummerSlam are dipping into that two-night spectacle as well. But with it being WrestleMania season, it got me thinking about the past 10 years, the last few WrestleManias that we have had, and I thought it would be fun to rank all the WrestleManias from worst to the best. Coming in at number 10 is possibly top 3 worst WrestleManias of all time, and that is WrestleMania 32. Not only did you have the big dog Roman Reigns versus Triple H in the main event of WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, there's a big difference between the big dog Roman Reigns and our tribal chief, who I acknowledge, Roman Reigns. Gigantic difference, and if you remember back then, it was shoved down our throats, and it was a terrible match from start to finish as well. I don't blame it on Triple H. I just think the two just don't mix well, and there was a decent feud leading up to it, but other than that, the match quality of it sucked. Also on the show, you had a random 6-second match of The Rock versus Eric Rowan. I guess it was just for a pop for the fans that were there, but overall, terrible. On a bright side of it, though, you did have a great match in Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles, and that is why I gave this a 2 out of 5 on the match quality scale. Now, going over to the results side, you had Dean Ambrose lose to Brock Lesnar. Triple H did lose the match to Roman Reigns. You had the Dudleys lose to the Usos. But on the bright side of that, you had Shane McMahon lose to Taker in a Hell in a Cell match. Zack Ryder got his WrestleMania moment by winning the IC title in a ladder match. And you had Chris Jericho beat AJ Styles. All in all, that led me to give the matches 1 out of 5 for the result side, leading this to a 3 out of 10 total, which makes it number 10 on this list. Coming in at number 9, I am aware I am going to get a lot of hate for this, but number 9 is WrestleMania 37. Now, I know I'm going to get hate for this because everyone enjoyed the show, but I did not. I thought it was very lackluster, per se. It was just not good. There was the one good match. The match of the night, in my opinion, or both nights, because it's 2 nights, was Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, and I don't think that's talked about enough. Also, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre put on a decent match, and it was entertaining. And the triple threat with Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Edge. And also at this pay-per-view, you had Bad Bunny's first appearance in the WWE, and he is beloved by fans. But all in all, for match quality, I gave this a 3 out of 5. What made this WrestleMania so bad for me was the match results. Drew McIntyre lost to Bobby Lashley. Seth Rollins lost to Cesaro. Shane McMahon lost to Braun Strowman. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, pretty much got squashed by Randy Orton. And all of that caused me to give this a 2.5 out of 5 on the results, making this a 5.5 on the scale. And one thing I do want to preface right here is this is not based if there was just 1 or 2 good matches. This is based from the start of the show to the end of the show, everything in between. Now, I'm not going to talk about every match that's on those match cards. You'll see them all right here in this area. But it has to be judged on everything, not just 1 or 2 good matches. That's not going to change the rating, but it will factor in, make the score go up a little bit. But the more bad matches there are, the lower score it's going to have. Coming in at number 8 on this list, this was difficult for me to put this low because this show had the highest of highs, but it also had the lowest of lows, and that is WrestleMania 34. So on this show, you had some entertaining matches. You had Seth Rollins versus The Miz versus Finn Balor for the IC title, which was a phenomenal triple threat match. You had Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, Ronda Rousey's debut in the WWE. Although that did not turn out well in the end, with how Ronda Rousey turned out, it was entertaining to see that bridge be broken. You also had AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and you had John Cena versus The Undertaker. Now, granted, their match was only like 3 minutes long.
The whole segment was about 23 minutes long, and that was very, very entertaining to see. So for match quality wise, I land this a 3 out of 5. And where things fall off the rails a little bit is the results. Charlotte beat Asuka, ending Asuka's undefeated streak that she carried over from NXT to the main roster on the build to WrestleMania, won the Royal Rumble, kept the undefeated streak, and it got broken by Charlotte. Now, why? That's the Vince thing. I don't know why. Everybody thought Asuka was going to win. I thought there was no idea Charlotte would win, but obviously she did. Also, you had Jinder Mahal win the United States Championship in a triple threat against, or fatal four-way against Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, and Rusev. Jinder Mahal, why did he win that? I don't know. And you had Nia Jax beat Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title. And AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. Although the match was phenomenal, in my opinion, no pun intended, it was like a 5-star match. If I would rate it, I might have to go back and rewatch it, as my opinion probably has changed. But Styles should not have won that. Same thing with Shinsuke Nakamura. I thought there was no way that Shinsuke was going to lose, because it was just such the perfect spot. And I understand they used that to make Styles a heel, but nonetheless, Nakamura could have won that, and he should have won that, because it's proven since that time, ever since that match, he's really, he was up here, and now he is all the way down here, and he has slowly declined in the roster rankings throughout the years. And that gave me a 2.75 out of 5 on results, totaling to WrestleMania having a 5.75 out of 10, making it the number 8 slot. Number 7 on this list, I'm going to get a lot of hate, and sound off in the comments. Give me your opinions in the comments, because that's what we're all here for. But number 7 on this list, and it could be a lot higher, is WrestleMania 31. Yes, you heard me right, WrestleMania 31. The Bray Wyatt and Undertaker match was phenomenal. They put on a beautiful match, beautiful storytelling. Everything about it was great. And there were some good matches on the show. You had Daniel Bryan winning the IC title in a ladder match, Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, Triple H versus Sting. And so quality-wise, I would give it a 3 out of 5 on match quality. And it should be higher on this list because of the heist of the century. We were saved from Brock or Roman winning in the main event. However, Triple H beating Sting was one of the stupidest decisions that Vince has ever made. And if you've been keeping up with media, you know Vince made some very, very dumb decisions. That alone drops it to a 2 out of 5 on results, giving this Mania a 6 out of 10. Moving on to number 6, and this is where the list becomes extremely difficult. And if you pay attention throughout the rest of the video, you will see that all of these shows are about half a point within one another, because they're very hard to put in, the correct order, but this was my rankings on it. So number 6 is WrestleMania 39. And there's an argument for WrestleMania 39 to be in the top 3 slot for the best show of the past 10 years for WrestleMania. You had some quality matches. You had Rey versus Dominic Mysterio, Dom finally trying to get out of Rey's shadow, which was an entertaining match. You had Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. You had Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. The iconic triple threat between Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. And I could say amazing things about pretty much every match on this card, and that's why I give it a 4 out of 5 on quality. But what makes this WrestleMania so low on the list for me is because of the results. Austin Theory beat John Cena. Now, I understand that Austin Theory was Vince McMahon's guy. I understand that Vince wanted to skyrocket Austin Theory to the moon, but the payoff was never there. So a few years removed from WrestleMania 39, we can look back and we can say that Austin Theory should not have won that match. Edge beating Finn Balor, and it was a criminal decision in my books. Edge, since he came back to WWE and AEW, for the most part, he has just been burying talent. And now, even though it was a great match, and after this Mania, Gunther went on to break the IC title record, I think Drew McIntyre should have won the match. And then the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Obviously, that is a great match, and this one still stings to look back on. Cody losing to Roman Reigns did pay off a year later, and it gave us more entertainment within the Bloodline storyline as that evolved over the year, but we had to sit through another year of a part-time champion in Roman Reigns. No matter how good he was still a part-time champion, and we still had to see Solo Sikoa on our screens, which they should be put in prison for that. Giving this a 2.5 out of 5 on the results side of the scale, making this total a 7.5 out of 10 ranking. We are now entering the top 5 WrestleManias of the past 10 years, and number 5 on this list is one of the craziest cases of just meant to be that I have ever seen, and that is WrestleMania 36. To be honest with you, I don't think WrestleMania 36 would have been as good as it was if it weren't for COVID. Just months before WrestleMania was supposed to happen, the entire world shut down. The event had to be canceled, the tickets had to be refunded, everybody was going crazy, and WWE was left trying to scrummage to find a solution on how to still put the show on with the world being shut down, with fans not being allowed. And then that led to WrestleMania 36 taking place in a silent arena with no crowd. But it gave us possibly the greatest cinematic match in wrestling history, the Boneyard match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles. I have went back and watched that match a dozen plus times. It was beautifully done, and especially that being Undertaker's send-off, it could not have been done better. If it happened in a ring, yes, their chemistry was great. As AJ Styles said in a recent interview with Chris Van Vliet, the match only had one take. One take and done. That was it. There was not multiple takes, redoing anything. Their chemistry was perfect. But the Boneyard match taking place how it did, with the cinematic stuff that they did, I think that was a perfect send-off for Taker compared to be if it were in the ring. And also, you had the Firefly Funhouse with Bray Wyatt and John Cena, which was another great cinematic match. And you had Drew McIntyre pretty much squashing Brock Lesnar in a finisher fest. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins putting on a banger match. And altogether, this gets a 3 out of 5 on the quality of it. Over to the results side of things, it was pretty much perfect. Drew McIntyre beat Brock Lesnar, winning his first world title. Edge beat Randy Orton, Taker beat Styles, Bray beat Cena, and that gives this a 4 out of 5 on the results, bringing WrestleMania 38 to a 7 out of 10, putting it in the number 5 slot. Number 4 on this list gets a lot of hate for the main event being what it was, and that is WrestleMania 38. Now, I completely agree with you. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns is a match we have seen multiple times before, and it was clear that Roman Reigns was going to win, and that ultimately unified the titles. But on this show, you had some instant classics. You had Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. Cody Rhodes making his triumphant return to the WWE, facing Seth Rollins, and they put on an instant classic. Stone Cold Steve Austin squared off against Kevin Owens in a 15-minute match. I never thought I would see Stone Cold wrestle again, and when it started, I thought it was going to be just a segment. Boom, like Stone Cold takes out Kevin Owens, bada bing, bada boom, go to the back, next segment. But no, they rang the bell. They fought a match. Stone Cold took bumps throughout the entire arena. But with this Mania, 40% of the matches were great, and 60% of them were kind of boring, and that gives this a 3.5 out of 5 on the match quality. Going over on the results side, it was really good. You had Cody beat Rollins, you had Charlotte beat Ronda Rousey, Pat McAfee beat Austin Theory, and even though the match was bad, Roman won the main event, and that gives this a 4 out of 5 on the results, bringing WrestleMania's total to a 7.5 out of 10. Now, going on to 3, we have to go all the way back to 2017 for WrestleMania 33. Match quality of the show, I was entertained by almost all of the matches. Most notably, AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon, Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho, the Hardys making their shocking return to the WWE and putting on an amazing ladder match. I mean, who thought that was going to happen? I thought the New Day were going to get involved and stuff like that. Now, it sucks the Hardys' run ended how it did in the WWE after they went back. But after that Mania, when they returned, they gave us beautiful storylines, matches, and everything. And then it just got to a point where WWE did not know the direction to go with them. Jeff Hardy had his issues. Everything about it just fell apart. And I would hope that the Hardys are able to retire in the WWE eventually, as I think that it's just meant to be that way. It's where they started. It's where they should end up. Yes, they have been around other places, Ring of Honor, TNA, and all of that, but the Hardys are known from WWE, so hopefully eventually, especially with this TNA merger, they're already on NXT, so hopefully they make their way back full-time to WWE and get a proper send-off. But altogether, it gives this a 4 out of 5 on match quality. For the results, though, now that's another story. Roman Reigns beating The Undertaker in the main event. Why? Just why? Taking that into account, I gave this a 3.75 out of 5 on the results, which gives WrestleMania 33 a 7.75 out of 10. Now, number 2. This is one of the greatest shows that Vince McMahon has put together in recent memory. WrestleMania 35. Match quality. Triple H and Batista. Many fans had their childhoods resurrected because of this match. AJ Styles and Randy Orton. Finn Balor taking on Bobby Lashley with Finn Balor being the demon. All of that gets a 4 out of 5 for me for match quality. And result-wise, it was great. And I only have one complaint, and that is Baron Corbin beating Kurt Angle. Now, once again, like other things on this list, I understand the direction they were going to go to. Because, well, actually, no. Because I don't even think they had a plan to push Baron Corbin at this point. And it's a slept-on gimmick, but the Lone Wolf gimmick was great. You know, this version of Baron Corbin retiring Kurt Angle, I don't understand it. I know Chad Gable was not where he is now back then. But if you had Chad Gable retire Kurt Angle, that's perfect. You get Chad Gable a lot of heat. Olympic gold medalist versus Olympic gold medalist. Everything about it would have been perfect. But instead, they put it in Baron Corbin's hands. On the good side, though, Balor won the IC title. Becky Lynch beat Ronda Rousey and Charlotte. You know, so Becky won both of the belts. Becky 2 belts. Seth Rollins squashed Brock Lesnar, and that got a 4 out of 5 on the match results, totaling an 8 out of 10. So the quality and results were the same on this one. They both got a 4. Number 1, well, I'm sure that was pretty easy for you to guess, and that is the greatest WrestleMania to ever happen, in my opinion, being WrestleMania 40. From start to finish, this show was perfect. Right? You had the Final Testament versus the Pride, and that entertained me. A random 6-man tag team match. Now, mainly that was because of Snoop Dogg, but I digress. The show was entertaining from start to finish. Sami versus Gunther, McIntyre versus Rollins, LA Knight versus AJ Styles, Cody versus Roman. Not a single match bored me. And this gets a 5 out of 5 on the match quality scale. Because literally from start to finish, both nights, even though I was exhausted on night 2, I was not bored for a single match. Everything about it was perfect. And crazy enough, that is the first WrestleMania under the Triple H era that he had full control over the build towards, which was great because didn't he take over around 39? Or no, I think I have that mixed up. He took over for 39. Yeah. Anyways, WrestleMania 41 is coming up in Vegas soon, and I'm interested to see how they go. The main title matches have already been announced. Cody versus John Cena, Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair, and then Jey Uso versus Gunther. Not excited for Gunther and Jey Uso. Not excited for the Io Sky and Bianca Belair. Super excited for Charlotte and Tiffany, and also for Cody and John Cena. I'm interested to see how that dynamic goes. Now, touching base on WrestleMania 41 last time, the results were pretty much perfect. Cody Rhodes finally finished his story. You had The Rock win a WrestleMania match, which is great. The last time he did that was in a 6-second match against Eric Rowan, which we previously talked about. You had Sami Zayn dethrone Gunther, ending that record-breaking title reign. All of it gets a 5 out of 5, giving WrestleMania 40 a perfect 10 out of 10, making it, in my opinion, the best WrestleMania of the past 10 years. Now, if you disagree with me on any of these, please let me know in the comments. Let's start up some discussions and debate whether or not WrestleMania should be in the position that they are. But this is my opinion for the last 10 WrestleManias. Super stoked for WrestleMania 41 in Vegas. I will be there. I was at Mania 40 as well. I cannot wait. I'm excited to see how the show goes and the match quality that is put on. Is it able to top WrestleMania 40? Well, I guess only time will tell. But anyways, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.